Hello everyone, it's me again. Today we are going to talk about some fundamental concepts in marketing. All right, so marketing strategy framework and marketing mix concept. Okay, so marketing mix and marketing strategy framework. So those are really important because we are going to build all of the remaining marketing content, like the topics, on those bases, on these two bases, right? So marketing strategy framework and marketing mix element, or 4 P's of marketing, sometimes also known as 7 P's of marketing. Okay, so let's crack it down. All right. So marketing strategy and planning framework. This framework, I borrowed this. Let's say I got this from two of my good friends from King's College London. Professor Douglas West. He was also my mentor when I started in academia after my PhD. He's a wonderful academic. He has several publications, including the textbook. This textbook is a really popular textbook in marketing strategy, so you can check for his article, Douglas West, and then his textbook as well. And then also Matteo Montecchi. He's also from King's College London. He's a lecturer. He also recently contributed this textbook, so I'm sure they don't mind that I'm using this framework from their textbook. Okay, and I also partly developed some content for their textbook at some point as well. And then this framework has 4 phases. They said if you like to develop a marketing strategy or strategic marketing plan, the first phase you need to do is where are we now? Audit phase, right? So you need to ask the question like, what are we doing right now? Where are we now at, like, in the market, right? So, and to be able to do this, what you need to do, scan the market, like do some internal capability analysis, and then also find your strategic fit in the market. So you need to find external environment and then your internal environment, company, inside the company, what type of capabilities that you have, and then position yourself in the market accordingly. I know this might sound really contextual right now, very or maybe it's not that solid right now, but I'm going to share examples. This is the framework that you need to remember, because I will revisit this concept when the time comes. But the second phase, after doing the audit, looking at the market, competitors, and your internal capabilities, maybe you are R&D focused, maybe you are marketing focused, and etc. Right, and then try to position yourself accordingly, find the strategic fit. Second step is the strategy itself. And for the first step of strategy, as you can see, like, you need to ask the question, where do we want to be? You need to set your objectives from the beginning. So that is one of the common mistakes that many marketers, many business people are doing, actually. They just, go on without having an objective in the mind. If we don't have an objective, you don't know where you are going, right? So you cannot understand if you are successful or not as well. So that's why you need to set your objective at the beginning. And then based on that, we have like very popular concept of SDP, segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Okay. So you cannot target all the markets. Sometimes you try, but even you are Coca-Cola selling water with sugar, nothing else, right? So, and you can still live your life without any problem if you don't drink any Coca-Cola. But they are a very successful company in marketing because they find their strategic fit. And what do? Even they segment the market, right? So because they realized 25 years ago that selling water with sugar is not for everyone, they came up with the Diet Coke, and then they came up with the Coke Zero, then that they came up with this other drinks and everything. Okay, so segmenting market and then targeting different segment with different positioning statements and then products is the key. Okay, so that's the second stage, second phase. And the third phase, once you do your activities, right? So planning, you need to start spending your money and then start your action, right? So implementation part. So now you know what you want to be, what kind of segment that you would like to target, and then you know your positioning. Now you need to start your action by spending money, producing product, delivering it, marketing it, and then using marketing mix. So marketing mix is the critical action part, implementation part, which we are going to talk in a minute. And then the final phase is, did we get there? So you need to stop and look back and said, okay, look at let me check my performance. did I do it right? So did I get there? As a company, of course, you need to monitor your performance by looking at your metrics. Sales is not the only metric over there, so you can look at the customer acquisition number, customer churn rates, and there are like, I don't know, satisfaction scores. There are so many metrics. We will also talk about those in separate videos, okay? And those four phases are backbones of marketing, okay? You need to follow those individual items on this framework to be able to succeed in marketing actions. Like this is what we call strategic planning framework, okay? And then, like I said, marketing mix is also a really important concept here, marketing mix concept. First coined by Jerome McCarthy around 1960s. Marketing is actually a really young discipline, right? So it was part of economics earlier this century, last century, and then they came up with like a marketing as a separate field. Still like some debates, is marketing science or is marketing an art and everything. Anyway, but the Jerome McCarthy in 1960s, he first coined this term of 4 P's of marketing, a marketing mix. And basically what they are, they said first you need to have products or service, same thing to be honest, but the P stands for products. Second one is price, then promotion, and then we have place. Okay, so let's break this down in like individually and then talk about them first. Product is basically, when you talk about product, we have new product development, product launch, packaging, or if it's a service, like service design. Actually, for service, we have like separate 3 Ps. I'm going to talk about them in a minute too. And then branding, features, designing product. It is really broad area as well. But you are lucky. I mean, in time, if you follow this kind of the channel, if you subscribe to my channel, I will also come up with videos explaining all of those concepts, okay? Second one, which is one of the most undermined part of marketing, pricing, because most of the marketers, they don't care about pricing that much. They just look at the competitors and then set their price, which is like really lazy way of doing pricing, okay? So pricing is a whole concept, and I will pay close attention to pricing because I love talking about pricing. And then when we talk about pricing, we will talk about listing price, discounts, allowances, margins, and then again, like a value for consumers, and then how you can use value-based pricing, market-based pricing, skimming pricing, skipping pricing, everything, okay? And then third one is promotion. For the promotion, also, it is my like research area, promotion, advertising, digital advertising, social media, public relations, whole concept, right? So the promotion is not that small. We cannot narrow it down to advertising only. There are so many aspects of promotion. And finally, place. When we talk about place, we are referring to channels that you are reaching your target customers, target segments, right? So channels, coverage, are you intensively distributing your product, or you are exclusively distributing your product, right? So what's your strategy? Remember, based on your strategic fit, you come up with this marketing mix element. So without having a strategic agenda, you cannot actually come up with this marketing mix, right? So you cannot create your own mix. You know what I'm saying? That is the critical part. First, marketing strategy, and then you can develop your 4 Ps. And then, like I mentioned, then we have separate 3 Ps. Sometimes they are all together referred as 7 Ps of marketing. And those 3 Ps are exclusive for service marketing. If you have a service business like a coffee shop, restaurant, hotel, and similar service businesses, hospital, then you need to pay close attention to this extra 3 Ps. One is processes, right? So when we say processes, think of like a fast food restaurant. Think of a McDonald's, right? So when you go to McDonald's, there's a certain process of ordering, right? So sometimes, like now, they are using digital screens. You order from digital screen, get your number, wait in the queue, look at your number. When it's ready, you go there and then get it, right? So, and in the background, in the kitchen, they have another process, right? So because their whole aim is giving your burger less than 5 minutes, okay? So that's why processes are so critical. On the other hand, if you're a fine dining restaurant, you don't want to give something so quick, right? So because it will create a different reaction from your customers, okay? So processes are really important based on your objective again. And then physical evidence. We want to see if a restaurant is clean. We want to see if like the overall ambient condition in a fine dining restaurant is, impressive for us. Or when you go to a store buying something, you can also understand the differences in terms of physical evidence. Luxury stores, they design their stores like sometimes museums, sometimes hotels, right? So based on the experience they like to create. I recently read that Tiffany and Co., so the jewelry brand, they are renovating their New York store, and they are spending like more than $100 million for only like designing, renovating the store itself, because that's what they want to create, provide like certain physical evidence for the luxury customers. And then finally, people, because whatever you do, your service people, right? So frontline people interacting with customers are key. So you need to train them, you need to give them what they need, because they are representing your services. Okay, so those are also known as 7Ps of marketing. So that, like I said, those are really important concepts that you need to pay close attention to. And I am gonna also spend some time and then deconstructing all those elements in my upcoming videos. Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel, and please leave comments, share your feedback in the comments as well. Thank you for watching.